Good afternoon. This is Alan Gregory, the director of B2B Power Alliance, here with Deanna Maio. How are you, Deanna?
I'm fantastic.
Great. Well, we're going to jump right into it. Can you tell me a little bit about your business?
Absolutely. My business is Delegated to Done. I help business owners and entrepreneurs who are doing way too much themselves figure out the right plan, the right systems, and the right team so that whatever they need to get done gets done right the first time.
Nice.
You know, so often people start a business and they love the thing that they do, but maybe they've never managed or hired other people before. Or if they have, they did it inside a bigger organization where they had a lot of corporate structure around them to support them. They have an HR department, they had recruiting help. But when you do it for yourself, when you're also doing the marketing, the selling, the service delivery, the customer service, it's a whole different ballgame. So whether you're working all by yourself at home in a small office or outside of your home in a small office, and it's maybe just you and maybe a part-time virtual assistant, or maybe you have an existing team, but it's just not functioning as strongly as you'd like, that's where I come in and help you save the day so you can get your life back.
Okay. Well, getting a little bit more specific, what's your area of expertise?
Well, within those three areas where I really love to help and where I find my skills are the best fit is helping people to figure out exactly what they need to start delegating more of in the business. What are the tasks and the projects that are either not getting done at all, or the business owner's trying to do, or someone else on the team's trying to do, and it's just not the right fit for their skills, or maybe they're not as available. And how do you go out and find the right outsourced contractor, intern, or freelancer to do that? So the hiring process is doesn't take up a bunch of your time, is really successful. And then how do you keep that person motivated, inspired, and performing their best work for you?
Great. I do find that hiring outsources is very, very difficult. And if you don't have a system in place to do it, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare from a time perspective, and if you don't know what you're doing, which, you know, no ego here, but I've had the opportunity to hire a lot of freelancers, contractors, and interns, and if you don't have a system, not only do you end up wasting a lot of your time, potentially other people's time on your team, but you can end up bringing someone into your business that's really not a good fit, and there are a lot of risks associated with that, not just potentially legal risks, but more time, more lost productivity, and you know, our time is our most precious commodity. Once a moment's gone, we can never get it back, so we have to treat that like the gold that it is, and
Absolutely.
really guard it like a mama bear guards her cubs.
Definitely don't want to damage your brand.
No, definitely not. And you know, there are other things, even if you could do it. Maybe you happen to be very tech savvy and you can edit your own website and you can even code. Is that the highest and best use of your time as the business owner? Probably not. You've got to be out there building relationships and doing the things that only you can do where you're really in your brilliance. When you look at what your time is worth, you could probably find someone who can do it faster and better for less money per hour. So why wouldn't you want to do that?
Absolutely. And getting a little bit deeper into that, who is your ideal customer, like the perfect business or person for what you do?
Yeah, so my perfect client, you know, if I could shoot a dart right at the bullseye, is a online business owner who delivers a professional service or information marketing. So they're a coach, a consultant, an author, a speaker, might be some of the words they would use to describe themselves. They have an existing team that they would consider a good size for where they are now, but they know they can't grow bigger and catapult their income to where they really want it to be if they don't get more support, either from the existing team and get them performing more effectively, or by growing it bigger. They're usually somewhere between $500,000 to multiple seven figures in revenue. So they've been at this for quite a while. They're not a brand new coach or consultant. They've generally been in business somewhere between 3 to 5 years. They've got their marketing figured out. It's no longer a function of how do I bring in new clients, how do I grow the business from a revenue perspective. It's now about how do I do less of the technician and the managing work and become more of the leader.
Okay, so I think you spoke to this already, but I do kind of want to ask it. What problems do you solve for these business owners?
Sure, great question. Some specific things I hear from my ideal clients are, you know, I have a team, they're doing okay. Well, Okay is not good enough. And they might say something like, oh, I heard this one once. This was a good one. I don't know how to hold my team accountable. I don't want to be a bully.
Ooh, yeah.
Or, you know, my assistant's doing all right, but I often have to go in and fix things that she did that didn't turn out the way I wanted. Or it's the night before a big product launch, and the business owner is actually in the back end of their WordPress website fixing some things because it didn't work quite right. Maybe here's another one. The work isn't getting delivered to me on time, and I don't know why. I'm spinning too many plates. I'm juggling too many balls. I don't even know what it is my team is really doing. They're busy, but it doesn't seem like anything's really getting done. Now, they don't always say these things out loud in conversation because who wants to really admit?
Right.
But there are some clues that you can look for. So a great clue to look for is someone who mentions in passing that they have an open position again. And usually that's because they have this revolving door of virtual professionals coming in. Someone gets hired, they're around for about 90 days, it doesn't work out, they're out the door, they're hiring again. That's their hiring process is not working effectively. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's not the virtual professional's fault that things aren't working out. The business owner generally doesn't know how to communicate what they want and how to hire the right person for that work. They also will have a lot of scheduling mix-ups. I found that even if they're using some sort of online scheduling tool or whatnot, they're extra busy. There's no time for them to book an appointment with you. And they'll often refer to having to do something over again. So there's a couple of clues for you.
Okay, so what's your competitive advantage? What do you do better than anyone else that does exactly the same thing that you do?
Well, there are a lot of people that say that they do exactly what I do. And I think there's 2 things that make me special or different. One is I've been hiring and managing people for, wow, this makes me feel kind of old, 24 years. I started when I was 13 years old, believe it or not. My very first real job where I wasn't even babysitting, but like working for a company in a business. Within about 6 weeks, at 13 years old, I was in charge of interviewing and managing people. And I think that is pretty unique. So I've actually had the opportunity to hire and manage full-time, regular W-2 employees, contractors and freelancers, paid and unpaid interns. So pretty much any way you can go about hiring someone, I've had the opportunity to do it and help clients around the world do the same. Wow. Second thing I would say that makes me really different is I have a real strength for being strategic. And not just proven by taking the Strengths Finder, but through hours and hours of playing the game Clue and kicking everybody's butt. Now, you don't want to play Clue with me, but you do want me helping you in your business, because what happens for my brain is I can visualize your goal with your help and see all the possible routes to get there, including how to break things down so you save money and save time. So a lot of people have this misnomer that you can find one perfect virtual assistant to do everything, and it's just not so. You've got to look at how you can break tasks and projects up amongst multiple roles so that you minimize your risk if someone leaves, and you spread out that intellectual property or knowledge working base across multiple roles in your company. So where I can see in milliseconds, almost to like a freakish Dr. House kind of way, how to diagnose the problem, you know, having that, not just that ability, but also the past knowledge and experience on your side, I think gives me a real competitive advantage. And I get to teach what I do in a way that is very step-by-step, extremely practical. I include a ton of templates and examples and scripts, so you don't have to create anything from scratch. If you're having trouble with a contractor and you don't know what to say to get them back on track, I've got the template for you. You can change it, make it your own a little bit, but you're saving so much time by not struggling with what to say or do. And so that's really the thing.
You're giving business owners their life back, really. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. All of us got into owning our own business because we wanted, in some shape or form, freedom. Right. We wanted freedom to work when we wanted to work, wear what we wanted to wear, work from where we wanted to work, with whomever we wanted to work. And 95% of entrepreneurs end up just creating another full-time job. It's not even one full-time job. It's usually like 3 or 4 full-time jobs.
Right.
And so what I'm giving them back is their freedom. And that's the freedom to go out and take the money they're earning and do great things with it for their family, for their friends, for the causes they believe in, to give their time, to be able to go to their son or daughter's soccer game, take a vacation without having to be tied to your iPhone or your iPad and your laptop.
Right.
To be able to feel that relief of knowing everything's taken care of, revenue is still coming in, customers and clients are getting excellent service, and I get to relax and rejuvenate and build myself back up, fill up my batteries again. Entrepreneurs are really good at being bad at self-care, and so when you've got the time and the freedom to be able to devote to filling up your own batteries again, not only do you end up making more money in your business because you're fresh, but your team grows in their level of confidence. They feel more empowered, and as such, you end up with a lot of people who are super aligned to helping you achieve your, not just your revenue goals, but your mission as well as a company.
And that's how it should be. So let me shift gears a little bit here.
Sure.
How do you generate leads, and what does your marketing funnel look like in
Sure.
general?
So I primarily generate leads through referrals from strategic partners, through live and virtual speaking to audiences in my target market. And those are really primarily the 2 ways where I'm generating leads right now. In addition, sometimes my partners may have some sort of telesummit, giveaway, or some sort of other event where I participate by either giving away great content in physical format, like a template or a tool or some sort of information, or through speaking. And those strategies have worked really well for me over the last 5 years. My funnel, I have an awesome free gift available on my website where I share the top 10 apps that I truly believe will help you systemize and delegate faster and better in your business. And from there, I deliver more content about how those apps can serve you in your business, identifying the problems you might be experiencing and what you can do to solve some of those problems. And then I typically sell my signature program through a live or evergreen webinar. And that has been working really well for me. And of course, we're always looking for ways to shake things up and do things more efficiently. So that may change over time based on what I'm hearing my audience wanting. But that's been working really well for me so far. And then from that signature program or from a speaking event, people might just roll right into a private VIP day with me, a longer-term coaching and consulting contract, or some other group training program or self-study program that's a fit for their specific needs.
Okay, well, speaking more about the Alliance in general, what would the ideal cross-promo look like for you right now? Would you want to do a webinar to someone else's list, co-produce
Yes.
a product?
Yep, webinar for someone else's list. I have a killer webinar, teaches awesome content, very little invitation or offer language, right? I'm really making sure to give lots of great value and really point out what are the benefits of learning the skills and the steps in my 5-step system. And it's converting quite well these days, which I'm very proud of. I've got great promotional materials for my partners, so I make it as turnkey for them as possible. We take care of all the work, and we make sure to deliver a really high content, valuable free training for your audience.
And also, in terms of passive cross-marketing, would you be interested in like maybe swapping guest blogs, exchanging thank you page promos, stuff like that?
Absolutely, yes. As a matter of fact, what I'm really looking at, and I've been studying a little bit of, is having introductions to partners in my evergreen sequence that happens after people opt in for my community. So you get my report, you get some content from me, and then over time, I'm making sure to introduce everyone to my community of partners. And that just happens, naturally through my automated sequence. I'm really excited about bringing the B2B Alliance partners into that process and helping them get some more referrals.
Great. Well, speaking to that, tell us why you're excited to be a part of the Alliance.
Well, it really comes down to 2 words, JP. It's quite funny because we don't really know each other all that well. We met through a closed or semi-private Facebook group supporting a particular piece of software and looking at how you can solve problems with automation, which I'm all about. And he reached out to me and said, "This is the kind of community I'm forming. Do you have any interest in that?" And it was a very easy yes for me because I could see the quality of work that he does. I could see the quality of referrals that he provided, and just his ability to articulate, even in a forum like Facebook, which is very informal. You could tell it's a smart fella, and I wanted to be a part of that. And then, of course, now seeing the list of people that are being brought in, it was a no-brainer for me. I'm really looking forward to connecting with other business owners who serve the business community, who have that same level of integrity and commitment and passion for what they do.
So what value do you believe you'll be able to contribute to the Alliance and your fellow members?
Well, besides referrals and the opportunity to help them directly grow their business with more leads, I am a resource junkie. Plugins, software, tools, other providers. I absolutely love checking out the newest, best thing that's out there, giving it my stamp of approval or not, and sharing that with my community. So I'm often known as sort of the Google for my particular section of the industry, because I love to check out especially tools and software that make doing the work faster and easier. If you can do it faster with the same result, that's what I'm all about. And I can't wait to share my recommendations and for how to really achieve the work, whether it's you or your team doing it with that same level of quality as quick as possible with the rest of the Alliance.
Well, this question I usually save for last, even though some people like to have it first. And you mentioned it a little bit, but can you tell us a little bit about how you got started?
Oh, sure, I'd be glad to. Well, like many entrepreneurs, I was in a corporate job and felt trapped. I was the director of learning and development for a subsidiary of a Wall Street firm here in beautiful Portland, Oregon. And I was frustrated by a number of things. I had to drive about an hour each way to work. I had to wear, well, I couldn't wear jeans, which is a big deal for me. I don't know why, but at the time I felt like, why do you believe I can't be effective if I'm wearing blue jeans? A suit shouldn't change the game, but okay. And no matter how hard I worked, no matter how much I was able to reduce the inefficiency of the business and increase the productivity, reduce attrition, reduce employee relations issues, big things that cost a company money, I made the same amount of money every year. There was no incentive in it for me financially. And my value was determined by my direct manager. Yeah. So I said, this is for the birds. And how that all came about is a whole nother talk show, but someday I'd love to share how I made that decision. And I struck out on my own. I knew I would be an entrepreneur at some point. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs on my dad and my mom's side, and I am a little stubborn. I like to have my independence and my freedom, so I knew it would happen. I figured it'd be about 3 to 5 years from when I started in that role. Mm-hmm. Turned out it was about 18 months. Mm-hmm. In addition to making that decision, the year prior, before I quit my job, I had some health challenges. I was out of work for about 8 weeks. And luckily for me, the company had some paid leave available, so I was able to earn income while I was sick and on the couch. But it really woke me up that I had to do something differently in my life if I was going to live the kind of life I wanted to live and the kind of life that I knew I was meant to live on the planet and do what I was supposed to do. So I quit. I got started, and it was really fun, and it was really hard. And within about 3 months of being full-time in my business, I realized there was a really big problem, and that was there were only 168 hours in the week, and I couldn't do it all. If I wanted to achieve the vision that I had for my business, it was not going to be possible. But at that point, I was barely profitable. I mean, the fact I was profitable at 3 months was amazing. I've been profitable every year, which is a big accomplishment. I'm very proud of that. But I didn't feel like I had enough money to really invest in the kind of help that I wanted. So I did some research, and it turns out that not only could I have an unpaid internship program and do it legally and morally, but I knew how to do it because I had done it for that Wall Street firm, and I could contribute something of value, whether it was unpaid interns, which it was at the beginning, contractors or freelancers down the road. There was more that I could just provide than the work and the money. I could mentor, I could coach, I could show an interest in their lives, and I'm very proud to say it's once a month or more, I get an email message from someone on my team that says, you're the best boss I've ever had. And there is nothing like that. So after not too long, all of my colleagues got very tired of hearing me say, oh, I'll just have Natalie do that, or oh, I'll just have Natasha do that. because they knew I had this thriving internship program. They begged me to teach them how to do it, and that's how I got started on this path.
Well, you mentioned something that's interesting. It's kind of an oxymoron even. You said it was fun and it was hard. So was it fun because it was hard, or was it hard because it was fun?
No. I mean, I love a challenge. I really do. But this wasn't the kind of challenge that I wanted. I felt like I was doing all the right things, but there was still just not enough time left in the day. And because I was trying to do everything, even though I'm quite tech savvy, I was working outside of my brilliance and my gifting on a regular basis, which I believe it's very draining. Not just physically draining, but that energetic, emotional, I'm getting kind of woo-woo here, but that kind of draining and tired that a full night's sleep doesn't solve.
Right.
It's that kind of tired that happens when you're working in an area where you're okay, but not great, where it's all right, but you don't love it, where the time seems to tick by very slowly, where when you're working in your brilliance, hours pass by just like that. And I knew that there was just no way I was going to be able to achieve the levels of success that I wanted in that first, year, 2 years of business if I didn't have any help. And so it was fun because I got to wear my blue jeans, I got to work when I wanted to work, I got to pick who I was working with, I got to work from wherever I was. And I took full advantage of that. That part was great.
Right.
The challenging part was, how on earth do I get all this done and grow this business when I'm only one person with a limited set of skills? And it takes a little bit of, it's a hard realization to make for many entrepreneurs that they can't do it all. Or that you can, it's just going to take a whole lot longer. I was willing to let go of my ego and do that. And the minute that I did, and I started getting the help, and I looked at what activities were really going to make the biggest impact, and how could I get my team doing part or all of that, everything opened up for me.
So is the biggest part about what you do trying to get like entrepreneurs to get rid of their ego, not get rid of it, but kind of put it aside so that they can do this?
No. I think the biggest thing that I help them to see is how the business should or is structured and how it can operate outside of them. So, many of the people watching today, I'm sure, have read or heard about the book The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And Mr. Gerber talks about the 3 roles or personalities in a business. The technician, that's who delivers the service or makes the product. The manager, the person that sees that the work gets done, and the leader, the person who sets the vision. Right. Well, starting out, you really do have to be all 3, especially if it's just you. But at a certain point, you cannot catapult your income any higher. You can't grow your market share, your credibility any bigger. You cannot work less hours and get the same results if it's just you. And so I think getting business owners to see how they can transform their part in the organization over time up to that manager role and then into that leader role and let go of all the control. You know who you are, those of you watching. Control freaks in recovery. I'm talking to you. And I'm one too. But we have to let go because our mission, our purpose on the planet is not just for us to hold tightly. We have to bring other people in if we really want to make the kind of impact and the kind of money that we want to make. That's my belief anyway. And I think it's selfish to hold everything to yourself because you're keeping people away from having the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than themselves and to make a great living by working with you. Right. So how dare you keep that from other people?
Well, wow, you've given some fantastic nuggets in here. Can you tell us a little bit about not more about you, but how do we find out more about you and what you do?
Absolutely. Well, I have a couple of ideas for you. Okay. Whatever, suits your fancy. Eat the whole fish, spit out the bones, keep what you like, throw out the rest. If you'd like to learn more about me specifically, I would love to have you join me over on my Facebook page at facebook.com/delegatedtodone. Or check out the About Deanna page on our website, delegatedtodone.com/about. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about the tools and the resources that I use to systemize and delegate in my business and that I recommend to my clients all over the world, I really want to encourage you to check out my free special report, the Top 10 Apps to Systemize and Delegate Your Business to 7 Figures, over at top10appsto7figures.com. That's top 10, that's the number 10, apps to 7, and that's the number 7figures.com. And if you want to go even deeper and get some training from me on how you can start to apply the 5-step system I've used with clients to take them from just at 6 figures to multiple 7 figures in a very short period of time by growing their team and their systems, then I encourage you to check out one of my brand new free training programs. It's called The Mechanics of Making More, the 5 steps to power up your systems, automation, and delegation to grow your business. And you can find that online at mechanicsofmakingmore.com.
Nice. Well, Deanna, thank you for spending time with us. I'm excited to have you be part of B2B Power Alliance, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
For me as well. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.